Oops, I did it again. I ordered another box of 6 cents heaters. Really? Not a single comment on my last video of my weak Justin Royal impression? Oh well, another unboxing. Let's go. Spring is just around the corner. It's starting to warm up. Eventually those lows will get into the 40s and then 50s, and that water will start heating up and our favorite fish will really start to get moving. With that being said, I got a few more unboxings to do to get everything ready for the start of the season, and I just got in my second order from 6 cents, but we'll get to that in a second. Team 6 had an amazing week down after the cold ice storms in Texas. I'm sure by now you've seen all of Team 6's videos. What a crazy adventure. First, it started out with Milliken catching a record smallmouth, followed by some of the most bizarre, monstrous bass fishing on video ever. 12 pounders, 14 pounders, and a monster Lunker 16-pound bass. What a crazy week in time to be on the water using that amazing forward-facing fish-finding technology. And this on the heels of witnessing an MLF Red Crest Championship being won by a guy looking at his live scope, pulling fish out of deep water, followed by a smallmouth fisherman in a Bassmaster Elite Series using his fish finder to basically scope those fish out, see them on the screen, and pull them out of the brush pile. And then we witnessed on YouTube Milliken and the whole 6 Cents crew using the same technology, finding those fish deep, pulling them up from deeper water. Completely incredible. But crazy week for Team 6. I mean, if that don't get your blood pumping, what will? With all that being said, 6 Cents sent me an email saying that their frogs were back in stock, and that was one thing that I didn't get an order on last time. After watching Milliken and the Team 6 guys go ham down in Texas, oh man, who isn't fired up to get out chasing after largies? Craziness. And again, I want to thank 6 Cents, the company, for offering a 15% discount to veterans. I was more than happy to use that code this time, and that's awesome. I truly appreciate companies that support folks like that. It's really amazing. That being said, I picked up a few other things to get ready for the fishing season after, getting so many crankbaits, when I haven't really been a big crankbait throwing guy. But I did see these on another friend's video, and I had to get them because what a cool little accessory. Now this is called the bait sack. You actually pin it to your rod, open it up, and your baits slide down in it. And I got a couple of different sizes because, lipless crankbaits, chatterbaits, jigs, things like that. But also, if you have the big swim baits, they make big ones. So they make 3 different sizes. I think I got the small and then the large. I got this for those big glide baits or big spinner baits or whatever, the bigger baits, jerk baits, things like that, can put it on. And then I got the smaller one to wrap around, like the smaller crankbaits, the lipless crankbaits, the chatterbaits, and things like that. Pretty cool little things, but this will be real handy in the kayak where it's a whole lot more close quarters than it will be in the boat, where I'll have the rods laying out separated on the deck. These will be really nice to keep those baits separated, keep the treble hooks out of everything. But we'll do an on the water review of these when I get to use them here coming up soon. Now, after my last unboxing, I started separating rods and reels and pairing everything up. Make sure I have what I need. The rods and reels for the boat are ready. And the St. Croix rods that I'm dedicating to the kayak, I realized I needed a crankbait reel. So from Amazon, they had them on sale. Hey, you gotta love that. I picked up this Lew's Tournament MP Speed Spool crankbait reel in a 5:6:1 gear ratio for slower cranking speeds, and this thing actually gets really good reviews across the board. Now we'll get this strung up with some 10-pound red label Seagar fluorocarbon. This will go on my St. Croix medium action rod. It's like a 7-foot bass yakking rod, and should be perfect for throwing all those 6 Cents crankbaits we showed in the last video. But enough yapping. Let's get to the 6 Cents goodness. So first off, right out the gate, Gramps loves him some hats, so we had to bust out the black camo 6 Cents. And that's actually a blue heron on the front of this. And I actually like that because we have a lot of those around here where I fish here in southern Indiana. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of them in the video this year. Probably where I'm wearing this hat, you know, because it's going to happen. I already know. I also realized last time that I didn't get a whole lot of, I got a lot of pitching and flipping stuff, but mostly jigs and the craws and a couple of different worms and like their Senko versions of stuff too. But I wanted some more stuff to throw around. I got a lot of lily pads and beaver dams that I fish in my kayak in my little honey hole. So I thought these hog wallas would be perfect. I got one set in. They didn't have any black and blue. They were out of them. Of course, they're going to be out of them. But I got like a June bug color, and then I also got a green pumpkin, which would be perfect for whether the water's stained or clear, because my little honey hole, it can be either way depending on if it rained or not. It'll clear up if everything settles down for a while, but if it rains, it gets washed in from the creek and it'll stain up quite a bit. So I got some different stuff to pitch around. Texas rig, of course. I didn't order this. This is actually something I needed and I almost would have forgotten about, but it's in my box. And that is a lanyard for glasses, which I'm always paranoid about dropping my glasses in the water, especially when I'm in my kayak. But this is to hold my glasses or my sunglasses on for when you're battling around in the kayak. You don't want your glasses to fall off in the water. And last year I almost lost a set of mine. They were a little looser than these, but I didn't order these. So Team 6 cents, thank you. I don't know if you're just throwing these in everybody's boxes or you just happen to notice that old Gramps wears glasses and could really use something like this. But thank you. I really appreciate that. That's really cool. That was a nice surprise. Okay, I'm trying to organize everything here. So I went back and I started my order as soon as they got some frogs in. I got 3 different ones to try. And I plan on, I'll tell you this right now, I plan on throwing these on one of the, they haven't released them yet. March 19th, I believe, is the release date or when we can order. I don't know when I'm going to get it in. But St. Croix is releasing a new line of the Victory rods. That's the name of the rods they're coming out with. I'm a big St. Croix fan. So I plan on getting a couple of their rods when they release. The first one I'm going to get is a heavy rod with a fast action on it. That will be my flipping, pitching kayak rod along with throwing. And I'll have 2 separate reels to use with that. One will have braid for throwing these bad boys, and the other one will be spooled with my fluorocarbon for throwing my jigs, Texas rigs, things like that. But we'll get into those when they come. That being said, I picked up 3 different frogs, a black and then a darker green and then a lighter green for testing their frogs out, because where I fish, come probably May or so, it's loaded with lily pads, and I want to be able to throw these all through the honey hole on braided line, try to pull us out a big one, because there's some tanks in this little honey hole of mine. That's why people ask, oh Gramps, you got you a boat, you're gonna be spending all your time in your boat. Oh nay, I will be spending a ton of time in my kayak, because it is literally my favorite place here in Indiana to fish, and you just can't really get a boat into it unless it's flooded, and I'm not going to be putting my boat in there. I bought my kayak specifically to fish this place. I've fished other places in my kayak, but this body of water where I'm going to be throwing these a lot is specifically why I bought my kayak. So we're going to put these Vega frogs to the test, and I've heard, I mean, we've all seen lots of good videos, and a lot of people really like these frogs, so I really plan on putting them to the test. Now all of these I added to the cart after watching Milliken's videos. I don't even know if I have an Alabama rig. Here in Indiana, I think we're limited to 3 hooks on the Alabama rig. But what they were throwing on the Alabama rig was the 6 Cents Divine swim baits. And I picked up some of those to go with the swim jigs and whatnot I got last time that you saw. I decided, since a lot of those were back in stock, I got some of the smaller ones maybe to throw on an Alabama rig if I try it. Notice the nice pearl white color of these. God, that's beautiful. But I also got some more bigger ones, because I think I want to be throwing these quite a bit more after seeing what we saw down in Texas. And I think everybody's going to be throwing a lot of swim baits this spring. Throw it on those owner, whatever, flashy whatevers with the underspins. And these bigger baits, when them bass start loading up for pre-spawn, when they start trying to get their bulk on, they may be chasing these swim baits, and you better have you some. Yeah, I know this much. So we're going to be throwing these, yeah. Now these are the same colors I got in the first box, the platinum white and the pro shad, because to me I think they match the hatch around here where I live, but I wanted to make sure I had plenty, so I picked up a couple more packs. And then to round it out, I actually ordered a couple of different colors of the Divine swim jig heads to throw those bad boys on as well. Because hey, why not? You got to be ready to catch them if they're going to be biting. So let's hop over to the table and take a closer look at what all we got today. And there we have it. Man, that is some beautiful looking stuff. And we know it catches fish. If you haven't watched the monster bass, the Milliken, and all the Team 6 guys caught, man, go find those videos and watch them. That is some exciting, it's just amazing what the technology allows us to do. For those guys to be able to roll around, find brush piles, and then literally scope the fish out and see them coming up and hitting their baits. Oh, Gramps is going to have to save up for one of those lower answer garments for next season, because that is some insane, just being able to go out into the middle places where they're not bothered by anybody else and pull those monsters up out of the deep. Woo! Crazy, crazy, crazy. But then again, sometimes I just like being surprised, beat the banks, pitch and skip and throw under my docks and trees and lay down and just be surprised by the bite. You never know. But I don't take nothing away from those guys pulling those big mondos out of the depths. It's crazy craziness. We're getting closer to fishing season, folks. Is it warm where you guys are at now? Are you already catching them? If you are, I'm jealous, jealous, jealous. I could be out fighting in the cold water right now, but I know when the bass around here start biting, so I'm going to wait until then. I got a few more videos to wrap up, some more unboxings to do. I got some fish finders to wire up on the boat. Get everything ready for when it really starts heating up. I'm excited, and I hope you are too, for this season coming up. If you got friends and family out there, man, share the love, share the joy and the passion with them. Try to get them to go out and do some fishing with you this year. Be a great year to get started. Once it heats up, I'm going to take all these baits we've been collecting over the winter, take the new baits, go back and talk about the old techniques that are tested, tried and true, and have been used for years and years to catch largemouth bass. Let's get some more people excited. Get them out there for the first time. Maybe they'll catch their first fish and make a memory that's going to last them a lifetime.